Thanks, Nadine, for reminding me. I'm always forgetting these things. Okay. So welcome to this masterclass, The Art of Effortless Space Holding. It is my pleasure to be able to share this with you. It's been 15 years of really beautiful work that I've been doing at the grassroots in my community. And it's finally come to the point where I feel really confident to share this. So in a moment, I'm going to share a little bit about why this is so important to me, and I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear and find out, what this is calling in you. Why space holding? Why is it important to you? And how you're currently holding space, or how do you hope to hold space? And we're going to get there in a moment. And I just wanted to, before we go anywhere, just spend a few moments just to kind of to settle in and to tune in and to arrive into this space so that we can really get the most out of it energetically. So I invite you to gently close your eyes and just connect to your breath. Nothing more, nothing less. We're just going to do some simple breathing and inner connection. Hmm. So just watch the flow of your breath. Watch how the breath moves in through the nose and how it flows out through the mouth of the nose, whatever is available to you. And as you breathe, just start to bring your awareness further and further down into the body, to the base of the spine, and anchor yourself in, ground yourself into this moment. Maybe throw some roots down or throw an anchor down. And just remind yourself that you were grounded, stable, and rooted into this present moment. Hmm. And then bring your awareness into your whole body and just spend a few moments to just scan or have a little look around and just see if you notice any energy, any sensations, maybe even some thoughts, distractions, images, visions, anything at all. And just take your inner attention to that which is arising in this moment. And just acknowledge what's arising. Acknowledge what's arising in your body or what's arising in the mind. Let it know that you can see it there and you can feel it there. It's just checking into the body, checking into the mind, and giving ourselves that attention. So we're not pushing away any thoughts or bypassing anything. We're just meeting ourselves where we're at in this moment. We've had busy days, lots going on. So just acknowledge that. Acknowledge everything that's moved out of its way to allow you to be here. Acknowledge everything that's fallen into place to allow you to be here. Give gratitude to yourself, to your body. Hmm. Hmm. And just allow what's happened today to just maybe dissolve or fall away around you. Anchor yourself into this moment and open up within yourself a little opening, a little portal to receive guidance, receive wisdom from yourself, from nature, from the content of this webinar. Give yourself permission to be fully present just for a little while. Breathe a few deep breaths into all of that, establishing your connection with the earth, And let's take 3 deep breaths before we start together. So inhale through the nose, taking the breath all the way into the belly. And at the top of the inhalation, hold your breath. And when you hold your breath, just relax the body, relax the shoulders, the arms, the face. And exhale through the mouth, releasing from the chest, releasing from the voice. And then again, inhale deeply into the belly. Hold the breath. And then exhale. And then one more deep inhalation into the belly. Taking the breath right in, holding the breath, relaxing the body and the face. And then exhale. And coming back into your natural breath. Regulate your breath. Become aware of your body, become aware of being in your space. And very slowly and gently, when you feel ready, open your eyes and come back into the space. Wonderful. Ah, wonderful to connect with you both today. Thank you so much for joining. So, seeing as it is a small group of us, it means that we all get to enjoy each other's energy and company, and also get some quality one-to-one coaching time and sharing time. So I would absolutely love for you to unmute yourselves and just share a little bit about yourself. Maybe we can all introduce ourselves. And I'd really, really love to know a little bit about who you're holding space for and how you currently hold space, whether that's in your family or you do it more professionally. I'm really, really curious to know. So I might put Nadine on the spot and ask her to go first.
Okay, so holding space, I think it's something that's becoming increasingly important in the times that we're living through. I currently would say that I make my best efforts to hold space for myself first and foremost, although sometimes you have to remind yourself that you can't pour from an empty cup. So that, and also those that I work with, customers, clients that come to me, friends, family, community. I feel like it's something that without any training I've migrated towards for years, and something that is important to me. So I'd like to obviously delve deeper into that.
And can you share a little bit about what you work with, how you work, Nadine?
Yeah, so I work in two different areas. I work in events, which is very people focused, and I also work in the holistic health side of things, with mainly with herbs and with foods that can help people to heal. So um, even if it's just say like a herbal tea blend, I feel like it's what I'm learning, providing someone with that permission to give themselves some space, give themselves some time, and through that then starts the kind of healing journey if they haven't already begun one. So yeah, it's something that's ever growing, but I feel like it's a mission.
Thank you for sharing, my dear.
Thanks.
Heather, I'd love to hear from you. Please do share a little bit about yourself and
Yeah, hello. Um, uh, the places that come to mind, mostly where I hold space, are with clients. I'm a counsellor, although I've had a little break for a while. And I support women around menstrual cycle issues, and I'm training to do a process which is a menstrual medicine circle, which is lovely space to hold, but I'm still in the process of learning. And at the moment I am moving towards, so I'm doing quite a bit of improvisation singing, collaborative improvisation, mostly on Zoom, but sometimes in real life when it's allowed, when it happens. And that at the moment is being collaborative space holding, but I would like to get to a position where I feel more comfortable to hold space for groups. And yeah, holding space for groups is where I feel the challenge for me. Mm.
wonderful. I would love to hear about your improvisational singing workshop. I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. Please send me some information so I can come and test it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love that. Wonderful. So I'd love also to hear a little bit about your soul vision. So for me, our soul vision is really the vision that we have. It's the vision that we come, it's part of, the reason why we come here, and we manifest this life. Our soul vision is really the what we see, the change that we see for humanity or for the planet, that really comes from this place of, okay, I would love, my vision is for humanity to be healed and humanity to be happy, or for my family to be happy and free, or whatever it is, rather than something that's a doing, rather than our vision being something that we actually do. And often people get a little bit, we often as humans, we jump straight into, when I ask, what's your vision? I have my students jump straight into, well, I'm here to do this. I'm here to set up women's groups, and that's really beautiful. But the vision, that's the mission, the vision in itself. Hello. Hi. The vision itself is what you hold deep in your heart. The vision that you have for yourself, your family, for humanity, and for the planet. So I'd love also to just spend a moment to just drop into that. I'm going to guide us into a little bit of a meditation, a very short meditation, to drop into the vision, to our soul vision. And the reason that this for me is so important is because our vision is from our self energy. It's our soul essence. It's what we're really here to do and who we're really here to be. And this is the absolute crux for me of effortless space holding. When we are space holding effortlessly, when we are drawing in from this infinite pool of abundant energy, and we are no longer drained by the work we do or the energies that others may bring into our sphere, when we are walking the path of least resistance and we still manage to find an abundance of energy to keep going, it's because we are really working with our self or soul energy, because it's an infinite source of energy. So I want to start to understand what makes your soul tick, what makes you tick. Okay. So if you just, again, make yourself comfortable, and I invite you to just close your eyes for a moment, and just for a few minutes, we're going to just drop into this knowing of our soul vision. So just connect to your breath. And as you breathe, so just watch the breath. Just if it helps you to just literally follow the flow of the breath in through the nose and then out, in and out, just follow that. And as you're with the breath, just start to drop your awareness deeper into the body. So almost as if wherever your awareness is in your body, just start to just gently, almost like you're pulling that awareness down towards the base of your spine. But we want to just draw it down the spine and draw it down into the heart so that we can feel ourselves almost sitting in our heart. So we can draw that awareness down the back of the eyes, down the back of the mouth, down the throat, and down into our heart space. And when we're here, we're just going to take a few heart breaths. So breathing in through the nose into the heart. And as we exhale, just feeling the energy of the heart expand. Just some simple heart breaths. Inhaling into the heart space. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose, and just letting that energy at the heart expand. And keep going. Maybe you see the energy of the heart just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You feel the pressure at your heart building. Let's just do a few more heart breaths. Relax your shoulders, relax your body. Feel yourself grounded in this moment. And now command yourself to see or to know or to feel the vision of soul, the vision in your heart, the vision that you hold for yourself, for your family, or for humanity, or for the earth. That knowing that you have inside, that you are here to contribute to that vision. And just be with that. Just continue to breathe into the heart space. And just be with that. And take your time. And when you feel that you've received that message, just very gently open your eyes, come back into the space, and just write a few notes down if that's relevant for you. Wonderful. Welcome, Pixie. Thank you for joining us. So we're a small group today, so we're going to be having a lot more discussion and chat. So yeah. So I'd love to hear if anyone is willing to share what came up for them. What is the vision that you hold in your heart? And I'm just gonna let you all just unmute yourselves and share when you feel ready. And Pixie, when you feel ready to share, you can just also share a little bit about yourself as well, and let us know how you're holding space. Great.
Hi, I'll say hello. Hi, ladies. Thank you for welcoming me here to this space. So, yeah, my name's Pixie, and I qualified as a breathwork facilitator a couple of years ago, during the lockdown. Actually, after I experienced it for myself, and it was just so powerful. I survived trauma when I was 22, and it's just really, it just amazed me, you know, how I felt such a big release somatically. So I really wanted to kind of explore that, and really, I suppose my vision is to turn what happened in from something awful into something really beautiful, and being in service, sharing that knowledge with people. But I'm at the stage now where I kind of need to get out of my own way, which is what brings me here this evening, really. So I'm just starting a website. I'm currently just looking for a little bit of land in Portugal. Yeah, just to hold, just to be in nature, and just to hold some healing space, really. That's the vision. So yeah. I have to.
Beautiful.
Can I just? I'm actually doing a breathwork session tonight at 8:30, so I might have to leave a little bit earlier. So
Sure.
yeah, just to let you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
but I didn't want to miss it.
we're gonna aim to close at around half an hour at around 8 o'clock, because Heather has to get off a little bit earlier as well.
Lovely. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your
Thank
vision.
you.
Beautiful. Nadine or Heather, would you like to share what came up for you?
I'll go then. Yeah. Well, I guess it's just to continue and to deepen into being able to help others heal through using ingredients and materials from nature. So, and sharing that with them and holding a space to be able to share that. Because it's a knowledge that is like a lifelong gift, really, and it can really help. So yeah, I guess bringing people together in a ceremony or in a space, and sharing with them and allowing them to feel the effects of how that feels for those things to work, and how it can then sort of change your health and your mindset. And that's kind of the mission. But like Pixie said, need to maybe get out of my own way as well. Yeah, I mean, I did a couple of workshops last summer, which were the first since everything began again, let's say, in person, and it was really amazing. And I felt that was my vision, that was also like my mission, my purpose, and I needed to expand on that. So it's wonderful to be finding out and delving into this a bit more now.
Thank you for sharing, my dear.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm asking myself the question. I think I want to spend longer with this question. I have a few words come up which are around dignity, harmony, deep understanding and nuance, and peacefulness. I want to sit with them a bit more. I have some specifics, such as supporting women. The vision would be for women to develop a really beautiful relationship with their menstrual cycle, and everything that comes from that. But I feel like that's a doing rather than I'm not clear on the specific vision. Yeah. And I know I'm veering more towards the flow of singing, but I'm not quite sure of the vision of that. So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. So I suppose this is my first the first part of my formula for effortless space holding. I'm going to share. I've completely changed the structure and content of this masterclass. I was saying, Pixie, that we had 70 people sign up to the first one, and we had around 30 people show up, and I didn't press record, and I wanted to try something new this time, so we're holding the second one, and we also want to promote a course as well that I'm starting next weekend, and so we thought we'd put this one on. And I'm going to be really honest with all of you. I logged on earlier today to come on and prepare for here, and I had completely overwritten all of my notes for this masterclass from last time. Like, they had just completely disappeared. I'd done like this whole amazing transcript, and it was like I'd spent weeks on it, and it was like my whole 15 years of space holding and all of my notes, and this is what I shared at the first one. And I just thought, you know what? That's perfect. Like, I'm not meant to deliver that in that way anymore. And over the last few weeks, I've come since I've been in Mexico. I just got back on Sunday. I have had a really major life-altering, it's not an event, but a teaching come in for me. And I want to share that with you today, because it's completely transformed my formula for effortless space holding. So traditionally, what I talk about with effortless space holding, and this is still very much an essential and integral part of how I feel we can effortlessly hold space, is that we start at the very core of our being and really spend time to develop our groundedness within soul vision, within our soul vision. And as I explained before, this is so fundamentally important for us to then not get confused with the meanderings of the mind, the agendas of the mind. Because this is it. I'm hearing so many of you saying, I just need to get myself out of the way. We're so conditioned and programmed as humans to do, and often when I ask this question of what is your vision, I still hear this need within ourselves to do, that the vision is even programmed to do. So I've got to do something, I need to find my place, and I've got to do. And my invitation is to really drop into those parts of you that you can really sense, really feel like they need to do, or they need to help, or they need to get out there, or they need to share, where you can feel the flavor of that urgency or that energy, and really go into those parts of yourself and ask, what is driving that need to do? And start to understand the deeper motivations behind why it is you're even in this position. Because once we start to kind of separate out the different agendas going on within our body and our mind, because we have different parts of us. When I say we have different parts, do you understand what I'm referring to?
Like kind of shadow parts and things like that, different aspects of our whole being.
Absolutely, because the mind is not singular. It's not just this one big ego thing. We are multiple. So we have a part of us that, holds depressive thoughts. We have a part of us that is very much at the forefront of our system, driving us forward and making sure we get done. We all have, and as humans, we all have very similar parts, but we also have differences too. So that's what I'm referring to when I'm talking about these parts. So we will have different parts within our system holding different reasons and different motivations from doing the work. And ultimately, my invitation is with my students when I do this work is to also then drop into the knowing of soul, of self, as to why you are here on this planet. It's a mathematical improbability that we are here. We shouldn't even be here. It's an absolute miracle that we're here. And so to have manifested this life is a privilege, to experience just miracle and magic. And so what is it that you have come here to contribute to? And when we can see all of that, we can place the knowing of soul, the vision of soul in the middle, and we can put all the agendas of all the different parts that we have around, then we can really start to get clarity on how we want to navigate, how we want to utilize this lifetime to its full potential. Because some of those motivations are driven by our trauma. Some of those motivations are driven by our need to help, our need to be seen, our need to be, and that's beautiful and that's okay. But to know that, for you to know that and have that deeper level of understanding is always going to help you to be able to come back into your self energy and know how you can support your system to the fullest potential as you move forward in this work. Because ultimately we've got to hold space for ourselves if we want to hold space for others. And holding space for ourselves in that journey, of course, we learn and understand the healing journey, right? And so then we can guide others because we've been on this healing journey and we've watched it unfold within ourselves, and we have that reference point, and we can take people to the depth that we've taken ourselves. Okay. And to be able to understand the healing journey, we can learn different models and modalities and wisdom that can also, we can bring into that. And that's really beautiful, and that's really important. But also, and holding space for ourselves is about being fiercely present with the parts of us so that we can work on them while we're being in service to others. So while we're even in session with others, being aware that our parts may arise. And if we're able to have this inner connection and this inner dialogue with those parts of us, then we can give ourselves what we need in that moment, and yet also be present with the other person, be even more present with the person we're holding space for, or the group that we're holding space for. Because often when we're feeling drained, a lot of the time it's because of our own inner system, what might be going on with us, and we might not realize that that's taking up a lot of our internal energy. You know, being worried about how the class is going. Am I doing a good job? Is that person getting the most out of it? These kind of dynamics that are going on in our internal system can be really subtle because they've been there for a long time. But having the awareness of what's going on within our own system, and having the ability to really calm and soothe ourselves in that moment, allows us to be more present and be more abundant in our energy for others. So one thing that a couple of you have mentioned also is in working to get our own agendas out of the way. Now, when we can do this by, again, working with our parts and really getting in there and helping our parts to, you know, through doing therapy, through doing our own inner work behind the scenes, what we have the potential to do is to help those parts of us reframe why they're doing the work, so that it's coming from a more self-led place, a soul-led place, more of a purified intention behind why those parts of us. It's like really bringing those parts on a journey and feeding that self energy to the parts. Because essentially, again, when we have clients or when we're holding sessions and we have parts of us that are in themselves worried or even triggered or concerned about whether they are having an impact or how the session is going, or their own agendas coming in and those parts of us wanting to fulfill those agendas, then that also can take away, that can really pull away at our energy in a way that doesn't allow us to be fully present also. So this is about really bringing those parts of us that are doing the therapy work. I call this our therapist parts or our space holder parts, and there are many of them, but really going on a journey of self-inquiry with those parts to help those parts of us really heal and get in tune and get in touch with you, you know, really create that connection between self and between parts. This is about really integrating, creating an integrated system where you're aware of the parts within your system and aware in what relation are they connected to self, or what burdens they might be carrying, or where those parts are on their journey. Have you heard of the internal family systems modality or internal family systems model? So I'm a level 3 internal family systems therapist, and the way that I'm speaking about parts and self energy is based on the model, the IFS model. And I really believe in the IFS model because for me, it's the glue that holds absolutely everything together. And when we train in IFS, one of the first things that we do is we do therapy with our therapist parts. we go first into a deep dive in relationship with those parts of us that are very much at the forefront of holding space, whether it's for our family or for our clients and for our students. And we really go in and we do work with them so that those parts feel confident to be there and hold space from a place of more abundant energy. They're clearer, their agendas are out of the way, and they're more on board with soul and soul vision. So I'm just going to pause here for a moment before I go into the life-changing, altering shift in my perspective in relation to healing and space holding. I'm just going to pause here and just ask if any of you have any questions at this point. No. Okay, anything that you'd like me to maybe, anything you'd like more clarity on or anything like that? Okay. Okay. We'll have more time, more space for questions also in a little bit. So the other piece to this is, for me, is being trauma informed. So I really believe that in order to create safe spaces, if we have a little bit of a trauma-informed perspective, then that can go a really, really long way in helping our own parts feel more at ease and feel more clear and confident in the work that we're doing. And also for our clients or our students or our family or whoever the space that we're holding for can also drop into a safer space that allows them to enjoy a deeper or a more relaxed or whatever it is, a safer experience within their inner exploration. So a trauma-informed perspective is one that kind of takes into consideration how trauma manifests in the body and in the psyche, and how our parts work, and essentially the IFS model and understanding that we are self and that we have parts in itself is a massive aspect of being trauma-informed. The key aspect of this is really when we're engaging with others is to be able to acknowledge on a really deep fundamental level where people are at and meet people and their parts where they're at, and to recognize that often all that people need is just an acknowledgement. All their parts need is acknowledgement. This is the very first step in the IFS model, and this is the very first step for me in being trauma informed. It's understanding that our parts, the gateway to trauma healing or any healing for our parts, is through acknowledging and witnessing. So the witnessing is one of the first steps in the trauma release aspect of the IFS model. When you eventually work with a client in a session and you get to the point where you're going to be releasing the trauma, witnessing is a really, really important aspect of it. But the reality is that we're always witnessing each other, and we're always in a situation where we have the potential, we have the ability to hold space for another person's trauma to be witnessed when we're at the coffee shop or when we're holding a sacred sister circle. And so these really key fundamental tools of acknowledgement and witnessing are, for me, the two most foundational tools and concept when it comes to effortless space holding. Because if we don't need to complicate things, and often I've been guilty of this, and I'm holding a day retreat and I want to throw in all of these embellishments and make it really fancy and beautiful and do all of these really great processes that I've experienced myself or that I've learned. But actually, sometimes it literally just is a whole day of acknowledging one another and witnessing each other. And that in itself can be the most profound level of trauma healing. But if our parts have another agenda, because our parts believe that in order for us to succeed, we've got to show value for money. We've got to take clients on a journey we think they're going to get. We have to show lots of things. We have to have lots of processes in order for that client to feel like they've gotten something out of the session. That's a belief that that part holds. And that's in antithesis to the truth of healing and trauma healing. I'm just using that as an example to kind of show sometimes how the agenda of our parts, if we're not aware, can be kind of indirect. I don't want to say conflict, but sort of not in alignment, shall we say, with the truth and integrity of what it is, you know, deep down in your heart, you're here to create a deeply healing space, or a space of awareness, a space of consciousness evolution. So I wanted to bring those two things in, which is the IFS model and a trauma-informed model being such an important part of how we hold space for ourselves and for others. One of the other most, well, for me, it's like the most important tool of being an effortless space holder is to learn energy protection tools and energy protection hygiene. Now, for me, it doesn't matter what profession that you're in. If you can't go into a space and leave feeling, if you go into a space and leave feeling drained, that there is something there in your energy protection that requires attention. And that is of utmost importance. So how do we create our energy force field where our energy can come out, but nothing can come in? Our energy can come out, but nothing connects and drains our energy from the outside, that outside external source. This idea that being highly sensitive and being highly empathic makes us more spiritually connected, or more connected to others, yes, I completely honor that. And at the same time, it is a sign of diminished energetic boundaries. So this is really about creating energetic boundaries. So for me, the formula is to move away from the idea that it's somebody else's responsibility to uphold my boundary. So I have a boundary, I'm going to tell you what my boundary is, and it's your responsibility to uphold that boundary. So moving away from that idea to it now being my responsibility to embody my boundary. So when we embody our boundaries, we are the boundary, and there's no penetrating that. So our energy is elevated to a particular level that cannot be penetrated by other people's need to siphon energy, or other people's just generally their energy where they're at. So that embodiment is so important. And for this, I recommend working with energy healing tools such as Reiki or Sekhem, working with the integrated technologies of yoga, so pranayama. So within breathwork, there are hundreds of breathwork practices that all elicit a particular response, physiological, biochemical, energetic, and emotional response. So understanding the different breathwork practices that can elicit different responses in terms of your energy system, and how these all work together. Kriyas, kundalini, hands-on healing, using mantras and yantras, which are symbols, sacred geometry. There are crystals, there are so many ways to protect yourself energetically. Invocations, but ultimately it's about getting the parts out of the way so that you can be more embodied. You can embody those boundaries. So I'm going to share with you the last thing I wanted to share, which is this big shift that I had. So for me, I guess part of that, my whole what is the meaning of life kind of answer was sort of around, I used to kind of feel that we're here to heal. We're here to heal trauma. That's what we're here to do. And it's very much why I became a therapist, and I specialized in trauma healing. I do a lot of developmental trauma now, and through integrated yoga and IFS and naturopathy and shamanic practices and other things. And that was my thing. And then I watched a movie, which I recommend that you all watch, called The Big River Man. The Big River Man, you're going to have to stream it online. It's an old movie about a man from Slovenia in his 50s who is very overweight and very traumatized, who decides that he, as part of his mission here on Earth, his vision, he is going to swim the longest rivers on the planet. So he swam the Yangtze, he swam the Danube, the Mississippi, and this documentary is about him swimming the Amazon River. It took him almost 80 days non-stop to swim this river. And I'm not going to spoil it for you because there's a point in this film where there's no reference to it really. You'll see it at some point where he becomes one with nature. And what this showed me personally, and I'd love to hear if you watch the movie if it resonates with you, but what this showed me was that actually our ascension, our enlightenment process, whatever you want to call it, our consciousness evolution into higher dimensional frequencies doesn't rely on how much trauma we've healed. It's more hinged on how connected to nature we are. Because when we are connected to nature, when we align to nature, to the nature beings, to the rivers, the waters, the earth, the mountains, the air, the winds, the weather, the celestial bodies that hold space for us, when we align to nature, we start to recognize ourselves as nature. And when we start to recognize ourselves as nature, we become one with nature. And when we become one with nature, we start to understand divinity, and we start to understand that we really are the creators. Because it's one thing to be in spiritual circles and hear these things like we're one and we are divine and we are whole and we are aligned, but what does it actually mean to experience that? And for me, our relationship with nature is the way that we come into full alignment and we step into our position and we step into the center as the creator of our reality. And that for me has been the fundamental shift, that it's through this alignment with nature that we recognize that nature holds space for us. And when we recognize that nature holds space for us, we are able, through that humble realization, we are able then to really receive that space holding from nature. And so it's this relationship of reciprocity. It's like we give, we give our offering of our love, and that's why many indigenous practice by offering something to the earth, by lighting a candle or making offerings into the earth of sacred herbs or whatever it is. Because we give first, we receive from nature, we receive from the universe, and so the cycle of abundance manifestation continues. And so we grow, our consciousness expands, we become more self-led, we channel this abundant infinite energy more and more and more, and we no longer feed off this finite energy of the body. We're feeding off a direct channel of infinite energy from nature around us, from the cosmos and from the universe. And that is ultimately how we become the effortless space holder. And this fixation that I had before on healing and trauma healing was coming from a place of fear. That I was afraid that if I didn't heal my trauma, that I would not become enlightened, that I would not expand and evolve. And I saw that. So I would love to know if you have any questions or any comments to make, or if there's any of that kind of resonates with you or doesn't sit well with you. I'd love for you to share how you're feeling in this moment.
Thank you, Natasha. A lot of that resonates, the relationship with nature. And I think I have a similar experience around trying to heal trauma and then it becoming quite a focus and not moving beyond that. And yeah, so that was really interesting. Thank you. I'm going to have to leave, so I'll say a big thank you and
Sure.
I hope to see you all again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, darling. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Hi, Natasha. Yeah, wow, for me, I certainly resonated with a lot of that. And yeah, I noticed when many years ago when I was kind of in recovery, you know, well, I didn't realise it then, but I spent so many years, you know, I've got 2 grown-up children, well, adult children now, but I spent so many years in an acute stress response, you know, and running around 95 miles an hour. And yeah, I did definitely resonated with when you said, you know, because it's just like, oh, I just need to do this bit more healing. I just need to do this bit more healing. And actually, I think it's just, it's a process, isn't it? It's just probably we're going through that for the rest of our lives, you know, in some way or another, whatever challenges come our way. So I think I've just started to realise that you know, it's never, the time is now, isn't it? You know, it's just if I just need to heal that bit more, heal that bit more, heal that bit more, then I won't take aligned action. So yeah, I did resonate with a lot of that. So yeah, yeah. And
Wonderful.
just
I'm so glad. Great. Well, I hope that we can stay connected. We'll pop an email over to you. There's a course that I'm launching. Well, I've already launched it. It's starting a week on Sunday. It's called the Sacred Ceremonial Space Holding Training. It's a 5-month training course into space ceremonial space holding. I'm offering, I think I literally have 1 space left, 1 or 2 spaces, but I think it's maybe just 1. I'm offering a discount for people that have come onto this masterclass for the course. And so I'd love to send that over to you in an email. And if it's relevant for you, please take a look at it. And if it's not, it's all good. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of let you know that we'll be sending you that email. Thank you.
Lovely to meet you, Pixie. Thanks
yes,
for
you
the
too,
session,
Nadine.
Natasha.
Yeah, so we'll stay connected. Please sign up to our mailing list, maybe join our Facebook group or Telegram group, and I hope that we can connect again soon.
Yeah, me too. Namaste. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Yeah, have a beautiful evening.
You
I
too.
will
Bye,
do.
Nadine. Bye,
You
lovely.
too.
Bye, Natasha.
Bye.
Thank
Bye. Hey, I think this is going to shut down. I think it's going to shut down, but I think we've got actually, we should have 15 minutes because I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but yeah, I think it might be 15 minutes. How you doing?
Yeah. Are we still recording? Maybe press stop.